The majority of videos that you'll see on YouTube about the Black movement and moving abroad for Black people is usually single people and people who don't have kids, or maybe their kids are grown and so they're not really moving with their kids. So this is not the case for me. And I know that for many of you who are watching this channel, it's not the case as well. So I'm moving with my husband and with our 4 kids who are really, really young, 4 kids under 10. So today I wanted to talk about the different challenges that we face, not only as couples as we are traveling abroad, but also as people who are traveling with small kids. So in today's video is going to be all about the challenges of traveling with your spouse. And in another video, which I'm going to link somewhere up here, is going to be about the challenges of moving with small children. So if you're ready, let's get to it. Obviously, there are some advantages of moving with your spouse. And in this video, I'm going to leave the pros, the advantages for later. But right now I want to tackle the challenges, because it's not just about waking up one day and deciding to sell everything and just move to the other side of the world. You have somebody to consult with and make decisions with. So this is where the challenges come. So first challenge when it comes to moving abroad with your spouse is about agreeing on destination. This is the first thing you have to do, is deciding on where you're going. And in our case, perfect example, we are not even on agreement on where we are going. Well, technically we are on the 2 destinations, Cameroon and Cote d'Ivoire, but we haven't really decided yet on, okay, we're going there. Well, technically in my mind, I've decided already, but you know, that's the one big challenge that you're going to face. If you are aligned on the destination, then this is not going to be a problem at all. But deciding on that, on where to go, when you both have 2 different destinations in mind, then that's where the challenge will come into place. Another challenge that will also make the process of moving abroad a little slower for you as a couple is about agreeing on the timeline. So when are you actually going? If you're more of the YOLO person in the relationship and you're like, you know what, let's leave this January because, okay, I'm tired of it, let's just go. And your spouse is a little more conservative and is like, well, let's just wait a little bit, slow down, we're not ready yet. Let's wait till, let's say, a year from now, 2 years from now, or even 5 years from now. And you're like, I'm ready to go right now. Well, there's definitely going to be a little bit of friction there because you're not agreeing on the timeline. A great compromise would be to go on scouting trips as many times as you can, discover the places you want to move to, and maybe that will shorten your timeline. The third challenge that you may face as a couple deciding to move abroad is the money. Okay, so what is the budget? What are we going to spend in order to move abroad? And what is our budget for our new life abroad? If your lifestyle is going to significantly change from the lifestyle that you have now here, then it might be a little tricky in terms of your budget. But if your life is not really going to change that much, then you can allocate the same funds into your budget, like maybe for food. If you eat out a lot here, maybe you're going to eat out a lot at your destination as well. So maybe your habits are not going to change that much. But if you have a totally different change in habits, then that's where you will have to adjust your budget, and also because of the cost of living at your new destination. So that's something that you will have to discuss and agree on in order to make that move abroad a little faster and less challenging for the both of you. Another point that a lot of women don't seem to take into consideration when it comes to moving abroad or even making decisions in general in a couple is that men tend to be a little more on the safe side because they are the providers of the family. And so they're a little more conservative when it comes to making decisions. That's just in general terms, right? Men tend to be a little more cautious because it's like they are responsible for the family in the traditional sense of things, okay? And women, we're a little more, okay, let's just go and see how it goes. That's why I personally believe that it's very important for us women to be aware of these signs and to remember that our spouse tend to be a little more cautious. Again, this is just in generality. It might not be the case in your relationship, but I know that in my relationship, that's the case. He's a little more on the conservative side and I'm more on the YOLO side. Let's just go and do it. Like I said at the beginning of this video, with challenges come solutions, and moving abroad with your spouse obviously has a lot of advantages that you don't get when you're moving abroad by yourself, okay? When I moved to the US by myself 20 years ago, I was both excited and a little bit nervous because I was coming to a new country where I didn't know anybody. So I was going to a new city, new school, new everything, new friends, new everything, starting from scratch and not knowing a soul. So it was exciting, but at the same time, I was nervous. There's this level of freedom that you feel when you're moving abroad by yourself, and that maybe people who are in relationship like secretly admire that. But at the same time, there's a level of safety and a level of support that you get when you're moving abroad with your spouse. So let's look at those advantages. So like I said, support that you get, making decisions. Sometimes making decisions can be a little challenging when you have to make those decisions by yourself. If you're a person who takes a long time to make decisions, mostly when it comes to the important decisions like moving abroad, then having that support system is really, really important. So being able to have somebody who can validate your thoughts, somebody who can validate your feelings, as well as your decisions, that is really, really important. In the same way, it's still challenging because you're going to a new destination, but it can be a little less scary and less lonely because you're doing it with a partner. Even your life abroad, because you have a support system with at least your spouse, even if you don't know anybody else in that new city, then at least you have that support system. So you're not going to be alone and you're not going to feel lonely. Very important as well is in terms of income. You can have more income to save, to invest, to spend, and all the above because you have two incomes, whether it's coming from your businesses, from passive income, or even from a job. You have that safety net that you might not have when you're traveling by yourself. Another big advantage of moving abroad with your spouse is that you have somebody there who cares for you. If you're going to a new destination and maybe you don't speak the language or maybe you get sick or something like that, well, you have that spouse with you who's taking care of all the logistics or speaking to the doctors or speaking to the lawyers or all the things that need to happen that are very important, but maybe you're not in a position to do it. So you have that support system, like I said earlier, right there with you, who's like your ride or die person who can take care of you if anything happens to you. And last but not least, another big advantage of moving abroad with your spouse is that if you have two different personalities, it really helps you to see your blind spots. Earlier, I said that I'm more the YOLO person in the relationship, and my husband is more of the cautious and conservative person, or I would say maybe more mature, I guess. Well, that allows us to see each other's blind spot. That way he can let me know about things that I might not be aware of, and I can let him know about things I might not be aware of. But if I were going by myself, I wouldn't have the different perspective that a spouse can bring into the equation. So I hope that this was encouraging for you if you're traveling with your spouse. I know that most of the content out there is geared towards people who are traveling by themselves, but I wanted to encourage you and let you know that this can be a big advantage for you. Sure, there are some challenges, but at the same time, I strongly believe that there are more advantages to this whole thing because even though you have sometimes to wait on your partner to be ready for that move abroad, you have that partner with you, okay? And that's a big, big advantage once you move abroad or even in the process of getting ready to move abroad. So let's not take that for granted and let's make sure that we are able to support each other as we are planning our move abroad. If you have more questions about how my husband and I are making decisions on our move abroad, don't hesitate, let me know in the comments and I'll make sure I answer those questions for you. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, share it with a friend, and of course, subscribe to the channel. That way you don't miss any of my other videos like this. And finally, I encourage you to watch this next video right here. Until next time, bye.